I want to talk a little bit about how to tailor your job application materials to a specific job or internship. It's important that you not just use the same exact letter of application and resume for every job you ever apply to. You need to be carefully looking at the job advertisement and analyzing it to determine what exact skills and qualifications that particular employer is looking for. So we're going to take a look at some job ads posted on monster.com, and we're going to think about how to analyze these ads to best determine how you might tailor a cover letter and resume to apply for these exact jobs. So first of all, we're going to look at a job ad for an electrical engineer position. This is from Bilco Manufacturing, Inc. They provide us a little bit of information about the company at the beginning, and then they also provide us with their web page. If you are going to apply for this position, you would probably want to check out their web page and try to analyze your audience a little bit so that you could figure out what their interests are, what their goals are, what sort of employees they're probably looking to hire, so that you can best show how you match what they're looking for. After that, they provide information about the position. They say, we are seeking an electrical engineer to design, develop, and debug custom control strategies for our family of equipment, including PLC, CNC, and PC systems. So you should notice a few key things here. They're providing some very specific active verbs: design, develop, and debug. And then they're providing some specific equipment: PLC, CNC, and PC systems. They are looking for somebody who has those exact skills, and will be able to dive right in to that exact position. From there, they go on to provide some basic information about what the candidate must have: a BS in electrical engineering or related field, experience designing and programming industrial control systems. These are things you would want to make sure that you emphasize in your letter of application. You would want to tell them that you have a BS in electrical engineering, or that you're earning your BS and will graduate in X date. And you would want to emphasize any experience that you have designing and programming industrial control systems, whether that's work experience or through school projects or internships. You'll also notice that they have some other specific things listed here. They're looking for somebody who can work with a variety of control platforms such as Rockwell, Automation, Siemens, Bosch, Beckhoff, etc. Any of these specifics that you can discuss in your letter of application or resume is going to look good for you. It's going to demonstrate that you know exactly what they're looking for and that you match what they're looking for. They also are looking for people who have strong troubleshooting skills, a working knowledge of CAD and standard drawing procedures, and familiarity with prevalent electrical codes. These three are things that you would want to mention in your letter of application, and ideally discuss how you have demonstrated your strong troubleshooting skills. For example, have you had particular troubleshooting experience in classes or in an internship or previous jobs that you can point to show your strong troubleshooting skills? The next job ad we're going to look at is for an entry-level electrical technician position. This job ad does not give us information about the company right off the bat, but they do start with some information about the job. Field service maintaining electrical and mechanical systems on overhead crane systems by diagnosing electrical problems, installing and repairing wiring, parts, and components, while working with and observing a senior electrician and/or mechanic. So again, you should notice some key verbs that they're using. They are looking for someone who can maintain electrical and mechanical systems on overhead crane systems, who can diagnose electrical problems on these systems, who can install and repair wiring parts and components. And they also want somebody who is going to be willing to work with and observe somebody above them. So these are going to be things that you really should emphasize in your letter of application. These verbs should be appearing whenever possible in your letter of application and resume so that you can demonstrate that you are capable of what they are looking for. They then go on to provide a bulleted list of duties. Now, they're saying that they're looking for somebody who is going to primarily do electrical work, but you should also be able to do mechanical work. So these are things that you probably want to mention. They want somebody who can troubleshoot, maintain, upgrade, and repair overhead cranes. They want somebody who can do wiring and electrical troubleshooting. They want somebody who can work with schematics and/or wiring diagrams, who can work well with verbal instructions, and who has personal skills. They want someone who can build control panels, configure, wire, and install radio control systems, somebody who has a very specific knowledge, three-phase power, as well as low voltage control. These are all things that you want to emphasize in both your letter of application and your resume. You want to demonstrate that you have experience, skills, and knowledge in the exact areas that this job requires experience, skills, and knowledge. They continue by listing some skills/qualifications, and these are somewhat redundant from what's previously been stated in the ad, but you know if something is stated multiple times in a job ad, that thing is particularly important for that employer. So these are things that you would want to really demonstrate in your letter of application and resume. The final job ad that we're going to take a look at is for a Documentum Developer. Now, this is a little bit more advanced, but I thought it might be useful for us to take a look at the type of job ad you might be applying for in a few years after you've built up some work experience. So this is somebody who should have about 7 years of experience in the field. They have the position title and then an explanation of what the position is going to entail. And they have then a list of the responsibilities. And you'll notice that this bulleted list involves active verbs: develop, configure, and deploy, develop, expand, assist, develop, develop. So these are verbs that you should be using in your letter of application and resume. Now, as I said, this is for a little bit more advanced position, so they're looking for somebody with 7+ years in these specific categories. When you're at that point where you're looking for jobs with experience, you'll emphasize your work experience over your educational experience, because at that point you will have plenty of work experience to emphasize. They also have a list of preferred skills, and I want you to notice how specific and detailed this list is. They're listing very specific software, specific skills, specific knowledge. And you would want to include as many of these as possible in your letter of application and resume if you are applying for this position.